Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, No Maniacs. Welcome to another edition of Nomad at Night. We got a real good show for you guys. I think you guys are going to like this, man, because we got a little bit of mixture of, some possibilities as far as this June 1st cut deadline happens, man. I think it happens in a few hours at 12 midnight. I'm not sure, or it may happen at 3 o'clock tomorrow. I don't know, but it's not that far away, man. And it's a lot of interesting names on that list. We took the time to kind of spotlight a few here that I think you guys are going to be interested to have discussions about. Got a little bit of stadium news or no news to that. Plus, man, I think we just capped a weekend of OTAs or a week of OTAs. I don't know exactly how many days they've been there, if they're still there. I really don't know. But welcome into the show, you all. As people start to file on in, man, thank you all for being here, supporting us all the time on all three channels. On this channel, the Nomad Network, Kids of Canuck, and Sports Chicago Style. Thank you guys for always supporting what we do. But, man, let's not waste a whole lot of time messing around tonight, man, and pass it on to Canada and see what the hell's going on with you kids.
What's popping, y'all? Thank you for coming through and joining us on a Sunday night for Nomad at Night. The man is correct. We're going to go through some good old June cut potential casualties out there in the NFL. Take a closer look at that, see what's going on. Talk a little bit about your Bears, and then get some rest until we find out exactly what really transpires over the course of the next few days. And we'll have more on that on Wednesday after those cuts have actually come to fruition. In any event, things are cool in Canada. It's a beautiful day. Enjoyed some time out in the backyard, but no further ado, Triple
R. Big up to everybody. Welcome in. Make sure that if you do partake and play the market, which we all do as we are here on a May 31st off season, that we buy Luther Burton stock. Once again, Blue Horseshoe loves Luther Burton stock. So we got OTAs, we got all the stuff that Nomad mentioned. It's Sunday night, prepare for the week ahead if you are one of those people that need to prepare for the week ahead. But we got you. So pull on up, y'all. Oh, and no, everyone being here.
Evie, in the building. Look at that.
It's good to see you.
Shit, we are somebody, not Evie up in this.
Bad 33 kitty.
Evie like a Chevy. I'll never forget that.
Evie like the Chevy. Yeah, super good to have you, Evie. Been a minute. Always welcome. Thanks for coming through.
Hey, y'all go enjoy this show, man, because it's all about possibilities tonight. We're going to get into a little bit of OTA conversation, but real quick, before we get into all that Bears conversation, let me check in and see. Kids kind of told me what it was in Canada. Unless you got any other, you want to embellish a little bit on what's been going on the last few days, you can go ahead.
No, nothing special, man. Things are pretty status quo. Just really hunkered down, kicked it with the family, and enjoyed some of this semi-decent weather. Because, we really waiting on summer to kick in. We're kissing June now. Let's keep it like that.
Hey, man, how far is Nova Scotia from you?
Far.
And when you say far, give me some kind of.
So here's context. So I'm closer to Syracuse, New York is probably the closest. There's a couple of spots in upstate New York that I'm closer to, Ogdensburg, Watertown, but let's just say I'm close to Syracuse. Nova Scotia is on the Atlantic coast, right? So it's probably, I do business out there all the time. It's about a 2-hour flight. If you were to drive from where I'm at, you're driving probably for a good, I don't know, I'm gonna say maybe 18-hour drive. It's far.
Why I mention it is I just saw
Close to Niagara, not too far from. Well, like I'm far enough from Niagara, but like we're in the same province. We're not that far.
I'm friends with somebody there on social media. Few people. It's freaking snowing there.
It's snowing in Nova Scotia right now.
That's what they told me.
Damn.
Not now. No, that was a couple of days ago.
It was a couple of days back because so the company I work for is stationed in Nova Scotia, and my coworker was telling me that they caught a little bit of snow. I was like, seriously? And he's like, yeah, it's cold. It's cold out there. So I'm not like, I'm kind of surprised because it's also beautiful. Like, now that I've had the chance to go out there a couple of times and check it out, it's gorgeous, man. Like rolling hills, beaches, boats. It's kind of like, I don't know. It's like it's coastal, and it's really that coastal vibe is a cool thing, man. It's just cooler than regular inner city stuff, as far as I'm concerned.
It's wild. When that, it was a lady that told me that, and I ain't believing. Then next thing you know, here comes a guy that's from Nova Scotia with the video, and I'm just like, God dang. I mean,
Leo Factor, man. R.I.P. Pat Stay. R.I.P. Bender Stratocaster as well. If you know Pat Stay, you might know Bender. Bender's from my city. Bender is insane, but that's because he used to listen to yours truly. But anyway,
Evie says in Western states, even it can snow in June. You got to be like up in the mountains or something somewhere.
Oh, so you're on the other side of Lake Michigan. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Oh, and thanks, Evie. She corrected me because I think may have all of us, but I posted that OTAs are happening right now, but it's not OTAs. It's voluntary mini camp.
Mm-hmm.
Technicalities, damn it. But just to clarify.
All right. Anything going on with your trips?
Nah, I'm good. Let's go.
Well, I do have a little bit of story to tell.
Yeah,
I always got one. You guys know what I've been going through with this landscaping thing. I finally.
So did you get it uprooted or what?
Trying to trim
it's not out of the ground yet, but I finally broke it down and owned it.
Okay.
I had to go straight Paul Bunyan on this thing, man.
It's taking you like 3 weeks of man labor.
Yeah, man. When it's a bush on the top, kids, but when in the bottom in this soil, it's a tree, bro. It's like under the soil. You don't know how. I mean, this thing is all under the sidewalk, and so we was thinking about ways to get this thing. First, we were gonna wrap it on with a chain and pull it out of the ground. I was just like, no, man, because if we pull it as deep as this thing is, it'll probably pull up the concrete.
You might pull the concrete up with it. Yeah, you're right.
You got a whole other problem then. But anyway, one of the things about me on social media, I don't, and this is just for everybody, anybody that follows any one of these channels, if you really, really pay close attention, I'm one of those people that really goes the extra mile when it comes to, I don't like the race relations in the country right now. And so when I see an opportunity to kind of put some of that stuff at ease, I'll take it, so lo and behold, I'm over here breaking down this bush, and a Latino guy is there working on my mom's house. He's inside, I'm outside, but he's never said a word to me, and I haven't said a word to him, and been around each other for weeks. And he decides to come outside, and he was just like, yo, he said, man, can I help you with that? And it kind of broke the tensions. And as we started to talk, he let me know that he was a little hesitant to come and ask me if he can offer me some help because of how the race relations have been in the country. Kids, because you're not here, you probably wouldn't know how piping hot it is in the country. With people,
Well, I have a general understanding and idea, but again, I don't see this when I walk outside my door. So it's like that particular dynamic doesn't exist here. But continue.
Hey, come on back next time, Evie, please. I would love for you to hang around a little longer. This is a good story. Anyway, just to finish the story a little bit, we ended up talking, and by way of my conversation with him, I let him know that I did not like the tensions that we're having, especially with black and brown people, but with all people. White, I don't give a damn what color you are. I really don't. And we talked a good while about that, man. We talked for about an hour and a half about all of that. The beautiful thing about it was he was just as upset about it as I was. And it was, it wasn't like I was just sitting out there thinking, what could I do to go in there and ask this guy for help? He just saw me out there struggling and wanted to see if he had a tool or two that can help me with the job. And, because of all the tension in the country about race, he was hesitant to come out there and say something to me. I don't know if he thought that I was going to pop off on him and be like, get the hell out of my face, and start treating him like, a lot of people are treating brown people in the country. I'm not like that. And he found that out real quick. And so that was the beautiful thing that happened this weekend. The conversation ended up, spilling out into other things that we can do to kind of, pollinate each other's seeds, man. You know what I mean? Work together, do different things. And it was beautiful. He wants to introduce me to his people. And, I love stuff like that because there's always a little apprehension between people when you have situations like this that's going on in the country. There's apprehension there, some of it unspoken, some of it spoken to, but not in the right way. He was man enough to come out there to ask me, can he do me a favor? And I was just like, hell yeah, man, help me out. He was like, oh, cool, man. You cool, man. I'll help you out, man. Ain't no problem. But it's just it's a snapshot into the trouble in this country with race relations right now. Is awful. And anything that I can do, even on a very micro level, I am definitely willing to do that. I let him know that. And he's the same way. He hates it. I hate it. Let's do something about it. And so C's got pollinated the other day.
Well done. Well done.
But yeah, other than that, man, I got swollen hands, bro. My hands look like Mickey Mouse right now, man, because all the physical labor I've been dealing with in the last 48, 72 hours. I was trying to finish up that thing over there. It took me hours to get that thing moved and shaken up. I was beating on that. And then the very next day I had to, do the garden, man. And I had to till that thing out. And because there's so many leaves on this thing, like it's mounds of leaves on this thing. And so it's not a regular just go across the surface of the soil. And it's real easy if you have to do that. But when you have leaves on top of this thing, you got to dig, so you got to take that tiller, turn it up and dig into the ground and just keep going. It's a methodical process. And my hands are still a little bit swollen from that. So, physical labor, I've been on that shit this week. And yeah, I'm paying for it right now. My back's tight, my hands are swollen. But hey, sweat equity is worth something.
And keep you healthy too.
Yeah. Save you a few dollars.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear you, Scrolls.
Around the way, the neighborhood hypes do that for like $5, $6.
Scrolls is right where I'm at, man. I see the chat. I'm gonna put it up here. Just turn on the chat so everybody.
Oh, don't put that on.
I'm not gonna put it up. He's right though. I mean, he's right. It's awful. Just know if you run into Nomad, you might not know you're running into Nomad. And people that love to say that N-word, just know.
There was a situation.
You're gonna go away wearing an ass whooping. I'm just telling you.
This past weekend, where unfortunately it had to be racial, but it was like a high school graduation. Did y'all see that video clip? Because there were many different angles. You saw it, Nomad?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, it was a black lady, and a white lady an argument over seating for the graduation on the front row in the bleachers there. And it ended up with the black lady having to be so frustrated and to the point, because she had been called all kind of N words. The white lady did this, and then the white lady took her cell phone, the black lady's cell phone out her pocket and threw it, off the bleachers, down onto the court, where down there. And the black lady looked so exacerbated, and she just turned in frustration, turned back, was like crack, right in the middle of a white lady's grill.
Put her right on the pockets.
Busted her shit all up. So and then the white lady's people who was there was like, kind of looked like, yeah, thank God somebody finally hit her ass. Because they had to look like, you embarrassing us, lady, but we your family. But we used to your embarrassment, and thank God somebody finally hit her.
Remind you, kids, he said a kid's graduation.
Yeah.
Somebody had to get put on their pocket. This is one of the more memorable times of some kid's life, and she got to get put on her pockets because she couldn't stop harassing some black lady for nothing.
All right, now she's all up here, and the sheriffs had to come in and get her. It's just embarrassing for everybody. Whole sad state of affairs. Yeah. But that's where we at as a country now, kids. They're empowered, and when I say they, I mean they.
So what you're saying is like you're just back where you were all of the whole time
when America was great.
Oh yeah, I remember that time. Yeah, that was a real shitty time for everybody.
It's ridiculous, man. I don't want to spend too much time talking about it.
Well, but the sad part is, it's like, yeah, people on that side now are the quote unquote victims, because it's like, well, why can't we have differences of political opinion and still not be friends? It's like, well, your political opinion wants to put me in bondage. So yeah, there is no compromising with that from my part. So yeah, man. So I mean, that's what it's coming down to, kids. That's where we're going back in 2026.
I'm gonna choke this off right now before it goes somewhere it don't need to.
I'm glad, because the little homie that like, I don't want to give that little homie any press. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all know who I'm talking about, he gets no press. So let's continue on and let's talk about our favorite football team.
All right, man. So we have heard everybody's going goo gaga over OTAs. There's a couple great throws.
Minicamp.
Yeah, great throws from Caleb. It was minicamp, and thank you, Evie, who's not here right now, who let me know that's not OTAs. That was minicamp.
Mm-hmm.
So, some great throws, man. Some great throws. One that I seen was to, I want to say Luther. No, it wasn't Luther Burden. What was it? No,
there was I know exactly what you saw, because there were only two, thanks to Bears media, and that's all we got. But there was a scramble because Austin Booker, I guess, jumped off sides or immediate pressure. So Caleb rode to his right. He did that jump man pass, and Rome Odunze came all the way across the field and cradled the ball for the touchdown. And then kids, there was another pass down the left sideline, kids, where Caleb lofted the ball, and Xavier Thomas went out with his hands to catch the ball, because he was like 4 yards in front of Tyreek Stevenson. Because granted, they not wearing pads or nothing, but yeah, he toasted them kids. Yeah, because no maniacs, Canuckers, everybody, Sport Chicago Stylers. I'm just so smitten with Xavier Thomas. It's just not fair, and I can't wait to see what Ben Johnson does with that little joystick of a fella. But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think one of the unseen things in that, I remember this time last year when Ben Johnson first got here, and during this particular part of the season, Caleb looked very mechanical during that part of his progression through, who are his targets here, this layer, and this layer. It looked very mechanical. This year, that shit looked smooth and effortless. That year in the system has done him wonders. He just glanced over his progressions and boom, he knew exactly where that ball was supposed to be. Big difference. Little things like that. You can't really suss out much in a clip like that. But if you look at that versus what it looked like last year, it's like two different planets, man. He was very mechanical last year, but that's what time in the system will give you.
Well, then it's also reflected in comments not only from Ben Johnson and Caleb himself, but when they have the interviews, it was one of the defenders who was obviously here last season, but then also like Kobe Bryant, he wouldn't know though. But they were like, Caleb is more comfortable with the offense. It was one of the defenders was like he was just bad. He's more resolute with his decisions. He's doing a lot more pre-snap reading, and I haven't heard specifically about his footwork being good or bad. So I'm going to take that as a good, because if it was bad, I'm sure somebody would have said something by now. But the confidence and the plays, they're all getting in and out of the huddle faster. They're not thinking as much about, where they're supposed to be play wise. It's just more playing. And Luther Burton, congratulations, because he proposed to his fiance or his girlfriend, now his fiance. Hey, congratulations, kids. But he was saying he, is no longer thinking. He's just out there playing. And so now we can see the well, we can't see it yet because, damn it, OTA or damn it, we can't see shit. But from everything stated from the people who can see, the practice, they're getting in and out really snappy, a lot smoother than last year, their first implementation of all of their process. So the returners know what's going on, and now the free agents and the rookies are picking it up. So we're getting this thing rolling early.
You know what, Trips? I'm glad my mind just goes to a place when we start talking about young talent and new systems and stuff like that, and how the learning curve works for everybody. It's not the same. I'm sure I told this story before, but I'm pretty quick when it comes to processing. You know what I mean? You show me something, you tell me something. Once I get it, I got it. You know what I mean? I'm going with it. And like for me, my first year in college wasn't like your average freshman in college, and I'm seeing everybody around me struggle with the volume of information and people people will lean on me, man. And it's because I don't know if it's because I just process information pretty quickly, or I just love the game and it just came easy for me, and it was just I like to do it. But it's not the same for everybody. So like as long as it took for Luther to really grasp what the offense was putting down and what Ben Johnson was putting down, I understand why it might take somebody that long to really, really get a handle on it. And even today, I'm pretty sure he knows that he doesn't have a complete grip on the offense. He's still learning it now. But in order to get out there and play effortless without the thoughts being in your head, making sure that you're in the right place and you're doing certain things the right way, when you're not having to think about that, you're going to definitely be a step and a half faster. And so that's going to show up on the field. That way, you every route you should be able to get you a nice amount of separation so that you can get a completion here and give yourself an opportunity. That wasn't happening so much early on in the season last year.
But then also that you say that, Ben Johnson specifically said that the positioning of the balls that Caleb throws to the receivers, that they want to emphasize that yak, because of the weapons of, Loveland, of Burton, of Thomas, Swift, practically anybody on this team now that does catch a pass has the physical ability to, rack up a lot of, yards after that catch. So they want to, capitalize on that. And that really starts with the passes being in a position to where, it's conducive to keep moving as opposed to having to stop, turn around, or reach back or anything like that. So that is a point of emphasis that those words, that subject came out of their mouth. So it is, another box that we checked from last season that it's like, man, the receivers are not scramble drilling when Caleb escapes. Ben Johnson addressed that a long time ago or at the end of the season. Man, we got to get passes better so the receivers can keep going. Words directly addressing that out of their mouth. So they see what we're seeing as fans and they're addressing it. And I don't think that there's any more we can ask for.
Hey, Trips, let me speak to something in regards to what you're talking about with Ben Johnson talking to Caleb about getting more catchable balls out there. Kind of what he's saying. And I've had firsthand experience with this. Strong arm quarterbacks, when they're a little bit anxious and they start feeling, pressure around them, or they just throw the ball that hard and they don't realize how hard it's coming out of their hand. I'm like, I'm 5 yards in front of you, man. You don't have to, that ball shouldn't have to whistle. You know what I'm saying? Like take some off that, take some mustard off of that thing. That's kind of what Ben Johnson is talking about. That every pass doesn't have to be a missile. You know what I mean? So that's what he's talking about with catchable balls. I got firsthand experience. Every quarterback I ever played with from high school to college all had extremely strong arms, and they threw the ball really, really hard. And I've known quarterbacks to tear up guys' fingers. You know what I mean? Throwing that 5 yard out, that 7 yard slant, that, that comeback pass. The comeback is supposed to be kind of hard anyways, just because you only got a certain amount of time before that corner can break on that ball. But any other pass, like the slants and the little dump offs and things like that, short area throws, man, you got to take something off of that. And that's just something Caleb's got to learn over time, man. Everything doesn't need to be a fastball. And so that's kind of what Ben Johnson kind of getting at there.
So that has a lot to do with strength, like other things too, footwork, just understanding his mechanics a little bit better. And once he does, he should be able to take a fair amount off that ball, man. Like he's really been one to really truly rely on quote unquote arm talent. He can just use the torso for this, for like close quarters passes. He doesn't have to put the whole in there.
Yeah, you just pop that ball.
All you need is this. That's all you need.
Let him run up under it. Just loft it up like a little crossing pattern. Just loft that thing where he's going instead of putting it on him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That little thing. But I got a quick question from Cornell Bryant. He says, "Hey, Nomad, who will win that third running back spot? Does Rojo have a role on this team after training camp?" You know what? We're gonna talk about that a little bit because right now we're about to pull up some of the guys that we have in the June 1st cut. Some of these guys that might be out there. I don't know that we have our third running back yet. That's a good question. Well, we just don't know yet.
I'm thinking. Remember, I think it was Stutesville that was beating the table, or one of the scouts beating the table for Coleman Bennett from down there in Georgia, the UDFA. So he's in camp, he's battling. And then, I looked and I saw Salvion Ahmed, he's battling. And so Rojo is he's feeling heat, put it like that.
Yeah.
The competition.
So what we're going to talk about today is some of the opportunities that might be out there. What we know, I'm going to preface this conversation with what we know. We know Ryan Poles and Ben Johnson want to keep this team young. And there's a space for veteran players as well. I don't want to make it seem like, just because a player's a little bit older, he won't have a place on this roster. All these guys could have potential opportunities here, but I know they want to keep the core unit young on this team. So some of these guys we're going to talk about fit right in that category. We also know that Ryan Poles likes guys that are looking for that new contract. And so obviously some of these guys, but you'll see with their ages, some of these teams may not want to offer them that new contract. And this year could be that, earn it year. And Bears like guys in those kind of situations. So there's quite a few on this list here. But let me just get started right on off the top, kids. Let me move us to the side a little bit. This is Broderick Washington, 29 years old, 6'2", 315 pounds, just off of his measurables alone. Just he's a defensive tackle. He's a nose. That can play some techniques. But that can play some 3 technique too. I don't want to get it twisted, but he's a nose. This guy is the perfect size. If you look at the new guys that came into this roster, they're all about this size. The guys that Dennis Allen has brought onto this roster, all of them fit this category right here. So this guy is a horse as a run stuffer. He really, really, really fits the run well, and it's obvious on film because you got to in the Ravens defense. The one thing the Ravens going to do to you every single year is they're going to try to force you to stop running the ball. And they have always had ferocious D tackles. From as far as I can remember back, he's just running the line with him. He's 29 years old, and man, he can play some football. They got so many talented guys on that defensive front and in that linebacker and secondary core. Guys like Broderick Washington get lost. But he's one of the unsung heroes on why that run defense is so stout and stellar. He might be a cut casualty come tomorrow sometime, and we'll see. But this is an example of when we talk about why the Bears didn't do this, they didn't get enough vet. It's because they're setting the table because of these opportunities right here. This guy would fit perfectly. All you got to do is go do a little homework. You'll see.
So you kind of nailed it, and there's not a lot more to say about this particular player. He's a really good nose, though. I'm just wondering, like, who really came in to fit the bill with respect to replacing Andrew Billings?
That's the question. That they brought a UDFA in that I think fits the bill. I think his name is Jaden Loving. Yeah. You got Javon is probably going to do more of that lifting right now.
Oh, you think Javon's going to be the nose for this team?
I think he's going to do a lot of that lifting.
That worries the hell out of me. I just got to say that out loud.
At nose?
Yeah. We've seen him at nose, bro.
But we're going to find out. Remember, you guys, even if it doesn't happen tomorrow per se or the next day, remember, we got a couple of months here before. I don't think Broderick Washington will be on the market that long. If they want him, they're going to have to start doing due diligence like right away as soon as they find out he's released. But this guy fits perfectly. Just go to the roster and look at some of these guys' measurables on the defensive line, and you'll see that the ones that Dennis Allen has picked, they all pretty much fit the same requirement.
Yeah, he's a solid nose, man. That would really help. Like if you watch his tape, he's involved in the run game, man, and it's a bit of a problem when he's on the field. So if they don't feel that they have effectively replaced Andrew Billings, then yeah, a player like this would fit the bill, and you'd be able to get him at clearly at a decent price tag if he's a cap casualty.
Well, about $6 million a year.
That ain't that
someplace
decent
in that neighborhood.
But that's all right.
So is he looked? So that's the price range there, huh, Trip?
Yeah. Well, yeah, he just came off a 3-year, $15 million deal, and I don't see anything of what his estimated value is right now, but it doesn't look like it's a multi-year thing going on, and just the free agency price tag going for defensive lineman right now is he's right in that $5-8 million range in there somewhere.
Cornelius just asked a question. He said, "Is this guy better than what we got?" He's a specific kind of guy. He's kind of like a nose. That's like if he came here, that's the role he would play. And for all the noses that the guys that we have that would play nose, I have to say, yeah, he's better than what we have on the roster at that specific role.
I wish I could argue with that. So Loving's a rookie, right?
Yeah, he's got to prove himself. But he's got a lot of Broderick Washington qualities to his tape. Kind of similar.
Except one of them has experience and the other one
doesn't.
Yeah,
that's the biggest difference. And that's why you bring in young guys and see, you put them in pads and see what they look like and see if he's going to be up to snuff come, if they can't, they don't think he's somebody they can count on, then you have to turn to a Broderick Washington type guy. And so that's where we are, man. This is a wait and see kind of situation that we have going on a defensive line. There might be still some shuffling to do here. But I love his tape, man. He's one of them, again, an unsung hero on that roster, man. He's a horse up in there.
So I'm just looking at this position right now, and I'll just go through the names real quick, and we'll get we can move off of Broderick Washington. But Javon Dexter, Grady Jarrett, Contavious Street, Neville Gallimore, James Lynch, Jordan Vandenberg, and Jaden Loving. That is your defensive tackle roster. That's a DT room. And I wish I could argue with you and say that Broderick Washington would not be a good addition. I think he'd actually be a super solid addition.
All right. At about $6 million, it probably can get him. Yeah, I think he's looking at his tape. I think he's worth $6 million straight up. I don't think you play around with that salary. You give him that $6 million if you can, and we'll see, man. So here's the next guy. Now, this is Dorrance Armstrong. He's an edge rusher who can kick inside on reps and give you some 3 technique reps. He's an edge, but I'm telling you, he's specifically a tweener, and that's exactly what Dennis Allen likes. He's 28 years old, 6'4", 255 pounds. Here's the bad news. He went out last year at some point, and he was probably having one of his better seasons of his career. He was leading the league for a good while last year in pressures, just being around the quarterback, altering the quarterback's throwing trajectory, and just being in there and getting back there in the backfield all the time. Dorrance Armstrong was a dog when he was at Dallas. Dallas was really crazy to let him go, to be honest with you, but they did, and Washington picked him up. He might be a cap casualty here, man. I don't know what that knee injury is and how well he's doing right now, but at this point, he's kind of, I think he was probably making anywhere between 11 and 13 million, before all of this. But because of that, if they cut that salary and that's dead cap, you can probably, because of an injury, you could probably get him at about 7 to 8 million now, maybe less than that, because he's got to prove it now. But this guy is a dog.
So he stands to make $8 million plus 3, 8. So it's close to $12 million this season if he doesn't get cut over the course of the next 24 hours. And your guess is as good as mine as to whether he's actually healthy. So I don't know if they're gonna this may be a true cap casualty. I don't know if they're gonna stick around and pay that kind of money for a guy who might not be at his best. Sacks, he's good for anywhere between 5 and almost 10 sacks a season. He's a pretty solid player across the board. Good tackler, stout tackler. I don't know. You might be able to get him at a bargain basement discount for a single year and see what happens.
That 255 doesn't tell the story when you watch him play. They kick him inside at D tackle with ease at 255, and he handles it well. He's a very strong 255. I mean, extremely strong. Like uncommonly strong for 255 kicking inside. That's not really supposed to work like that. Not in the NFL level. You can do that in college because we've got another guy that did it pretty well. He's a little heavier, but this guy is extremely strong, and he is always in the backfield. The thing is, Dorrance Armstrong is a risk. Anytime he's coming off of whatever injury it is with the knee, that's going to send up some red flags, and we'll see. And we'll see how that plays out. From what I can from what I gather, he's doing really well right now. But there's that. But
yeah, he tore his ACL in his right knee mid-season. But he's been seen in the team facility working out and stuff with a brace on his knee still, but he's on track for his recovery and his rehabilitation. And when he went down, he was recording 24 tackles and a team high 5.5 sacks when he got hurt.
And I'm telling you, at some point in the season, he was leading the league in pressures. Like 3 to 5 games until he was just constantly back there.
Shout out Bishop and FFG out there. Big ups to MC Fact as well, man.
What up, Corny?
AC Adam jumped in too. What up? What up? Just giving a little love to y'all. But yeah, man, crazy. It would be an interesting addition to this DE room. I think it would be a really good rotation if he's in good standing and moving effectively well, right? I wouldn't pay huge money. I would sign him to a
prove it deal for sure.
Prove it deal for the year.
Pretty much everybody we talking about today is a prove it guy situation.
Yeah.
And so I'm the smart man's money, which is Ryan Poles right now, likes to gamble on situations like this. Come in here, we can use your services for a year. If you blow it out of the frame, we might be interested in giving you another contract with a lot more money. And so, NFL's a cutthroat game, man. When you're a good player like this and you just happen to get nicked up during this time, it's tough. But I as strong as this guy's body is, I have complete faith in this guy's work ethic. From what I hear about him, he's going to bounce right on back, man. He's still young enough to do it at 28 years old. This guy's a good player, and he fits.
I agree. I think he'd be a compliment to what we have right now.
All right. Let's get to the next guy.
Who we got?
Mr. Dante Steele. This is going to be, if he gets cut, this is going to be a very interesting guy for Ryan Poles and their staff to think about. Dante Steele's, you probably remember, some of these guys probably remember him coming out of West Virginia a couple years ago when we were breaking that draft down. Chris was still here. We did that draft breakdown, and I did him too. Dante Steele is 26, 6'4", 300 pounds. He was a real tweener when he was at West Virginia. They played in the 3-4 front. And, he would be depending on the opponent and who he had to face, he's a D tackle primarily. And then other games, he's all edge rusher. But he's quick and athletic enough to play either role. And he's strong enough to hold up on the interior. Very, very explosive. Very explosive. And he's a tweener now, even though I think most of the stuff that I've seen on tape at Arizona, he's probably playing mostly, I'd say 70-30 D tackle, D end in Arizona right now. But he's an interesting guy because that's what does Dennis Allen like? Versatility. Guys that can kick in, and he's a natural 300. He's not one of them guys that need to eat extra sandwiches at night and cookies and stuff and milk to get to 300. No, he's a natural 300 pounder. But quick enough, explosive enough to play edge. He hasn't had a bad career so far in Arizona. You just don't know about him because he's in Arizona. Really good player, man. I liked him coming out of West Virginia. And I think at 26 years old, looking for a new contract, I think he fits what we do very well.
Because it looks like Arizona would save $3.7 million.
It's not a lot of savings though, and that's what I'm taking a bit of a deeper dive, just sort of looking at who's over there. So Arizona did scoop up Andrew Billings,
and you're supposed to be looking at tape. Tripp's supposed to be looking at all that, but go ahead.
Oh, I did a little bit of both. I already looked at the tape for this guy, so I figured I'd get a look at like why would they be letting him go? He's still super young.
That's what happens when they turn over. They kind of blowing the situation up. They're kind of blowing the situation up. And, anytime you have that, go on, man. Any and everybody on that team is a. They might not keep James Conner.
Well, that would be a mistake.
Well, they drafted Love,
Yeah,
and then they signed Algiers.
yeah. So it's not.
Oh, shit.
They're changing some things, man. They're going to trim. They might let some young talent like Dante Stills get out of there.
You know, Josh Sweat is rumored to want to, requested a trade.
Oh, considering that, stay tuned.
Come on, man.
Okay.
You seen when it gets blown up somewhere, and they just talent starts flying out of the woodworks. They want to
because now who is Dante Stills hypothetically replacing or an upgrade over that he's taking a roster spot from here?
Dante Stills. The interesting thing about what you just asked, Trip, is if something happens during camp and he's not signed, let's just say they brought in somebody like Kentavious Street and he's not really looking like, top billing like they was expecting him to be, I can see them releasing him and then picking a guy like him up.
But here's a question. A lot of the June 1st cuts are more premium talents than current free agents that are still on the street. So it's like, will he last until camp? You know what I mean? And as soon as he hits the street, he may have a contract by Wednesday for another team.
Yeah, that's typically not how it works for a lot of guys like this. Only because they want to see how what the market is saying. They're gonna make some calls and see who's in, if they can. If people aren't needy, they're not gonna jump. There's some needy teams that might jump out here.
But that begs the question, though, if Stills becomes available or anybody else, but namely Stills right now, who on the D line is he? An upgrade over that. It's like, oh yeah, we got to get rid of that guy and bring in Stills just on the strength.
The one guy that sticks out to me, and I don't know if he's an upgrade over him, is Kentavious Street. But that's again, if that happens, this is after pad. So that's why I said at the beginning, none of this has to happen tomorrow. This can happen anytime in the next month or so. You know what I mean? When they put on them pads and we find out some things after a couple of weeks, some things might shake. And if I'm Dante Stills, I'm not in a rush. If I get cut, I'm not in a rush. I get to play the field a little bit.
It's an interesting conversation to be had because they're the team who selected Caleb Proctor. They've got Walter Nolan in front of Caleb Proctor, and then Darius Robinson in front of Dante Stills. They also brought over Jonah Williams. So they've got a really, looks like they play a 3-4. They've got a pretty decent setup already with or without this particular player. This player gets pressure too. He's more of a run stuffer, but he gets pressure.
He's explosive as hell, man.
You know what I mean? So like, it wouldn't, if he falls out, he's not that old. I think it might just be true cap casualty situation where you're in a contract year and
But it's not only that, Kezo. Didn't they just change defensive coordinators?
Oh, they changed the whole thing. No,
they blew it up, man.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. So he's previous regime.
You're right, and that's part and parcel as to where we are. Maybe the other guys liked him a bit more than the new guys coming in the building. They also have made their selections, and this is why I brought up Caleb Proctor, etc. Mm-hmm. Those guys might just wind up being in front of this guy just because of that shift. So,
is Andrew Billings in front or behind the Stills?
Well, so I only let
he's a 3 technique, man. Andrew Billings is a nose guy.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say, right? So I only listed the edge rushers. Mm-hmm. There's still Sam Mustafa's brother, I believe, BJ Mustafa. I didn't realize there's two.
Hey, by the way, kids, Given the names that you just mentioned on that roster that they just drafted and just brought in recently, if I'm Dante Stills, I want to get cut because they just told me without telling me we going in another direction. All right, let me go play the field, and that's why Dante Stills, in my opinion, should not be eager to hurry up and jump on the first phone call that comes his way.
Well, the problem with that sentiment is just dollars and cents, right? That's all. It's like if he wants to get cut, he wants to move. I get it. You want to go someplace where you get a couple of bucks. I have a feeling he's going to get lowballed by whatever team that is looking at him.
He's not going to get that much money, kid. Right now, it's about.
That's what I'm saying.
It's about when can I get on the field with all this talent.
If that is your attitude, then that's actually what we want. We want a guy with that attitude who's hungry and he's like, look, I know I can guap up, but I need to get on the field and prove it. So I think he's like exactly that guy, right? Like 26 years old, bit of a cap situation, kind of been overlooked and potentially replaced. He just wants to get on the field to show that he's worth that, them dollars, man. That's what he wants to get on the field and do. And
but now that's the question. He's not coming off of an injury, so it's not necessarily a prove it year. And at his age, it's like, yeah, I could sign a 1-year deal, or it's like I at least want 3. You know what I mean?
So so the thing about this player is that he was injured in year 1. And that's where this kind of comes from, right? So year 1 injury, had to sort of deal with that situation, eventually got on the field, became productive, and then was sort of systematically replaced over the course of the next 2 years. So now he's in basically contract year with a year removed, and what do? You replace this player sort of twice over, if not 3 times. Do you sign him, or is he somebody you can afford to let go at this present juncture? And considering it, just like you brought it, just like you said, if it's a new regime in the building, they don't necessarily have to care to keep you.
Hey man, all I know is this, man. These opportunities for these young cats like this at this age, at 26, he's coming out of his rookie contract and he's looking to try to, get him a little bit of money here, and he's going to need a year to prove that he can do it. He's stayed pretty healthy for the most part. I've only known about one little injury here or there, but the guy's got all the skill set that fits in what we want to do here. And if they decide they want to go young and somebody like Contavious Street, and I think they like what they have now on the D line on the front, but it's going to be until they put those pads on. If a guy like him is still around, they're going to want to bring him in for an evaluation, check him out, and see if they want to sign him. So I'm just telling you, he fits perfectly. 3 technique, really quick off the ball, can shoot gaps, has gotten really, really good with his hands. He was always a dominant athlete, but now he's gotten really, really skilled now. And so he's a good player, man. I had to put it out there. We're talking about guys. Y'all keep coming on in here and bringing the comments. But we're talking about some of these lesser known names. We're going to talk about some more known guys here in a second here. But we're talking about a few unknown names that may be out there for cap casualties, man. Maybe it'll add to our roster and up the talent here, man. So he's just one of them. Dante Stills out of Arizona, 26 years old, 6'4", 300 pounds, man. Y'all should go check that tape out. All right, here's the next guy. I'm sure most people know who he is. Kez was in the studio quizzing me about this. Kez, if you want to ask me that question again, go right ahead. This is Trey Benson, by the way, 23 years old, 6 foot, 220 pounds.
So the question I ask you is actually completely moot now, because we just went through the reason why. So the question was, why the hell would they want to get off of the Trey Benson train in like 2 years? He was just drafted the other day. He's only 23 years old. Not to mention, he really hasn't gotten a lot of run because Connor was in front of him, and Connor's been holding it down. They also gave Bam Knight a lot of run last year too. I'm just saying, like, Trey Benson really hasn't had the opportunity to shine on an NFL field very frequently or much at all.
Well, that's
now.
That's why I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'm not. Let me just round it out, and you can take it away. To round it out, Triple R actually just sort of hit the nail on the head, and I hadn't gone over to the Arizona depth chart to really look and see. And now that I have, Jeremiah Love is in front of him, Tyler Algier is in front of him, James Conner is in front of him. He might not get on the field at all. So that's why. Anyways, take it away, Nomad.
The reason why I would know partially the answer to this is because, during fantasy football, I had to go when you got options and you got to move some pieces around at running back. I'm forced to go look. I go look at some tape. When I'm starting to think about who to go pick up as a free agent in fantasy football. Anyway, love Trey Benson coming out of Florida State.
Dope.
One of the best running backs. Chris absolutely loved this guy.
I like him too, bro.
Loved this guy. Everybody loved this guy.
Yeah, man.
But for whatever reason, it has not worked in Arizona. Now, here's a tricky part about it, and this was kind of disappointing for me. And James Conner got banged up, and Trey Benson was number 2 in line. Bam Knight was kind of after him. When Conner got messed up, I just knew Trey Benson was going to take this role. But for whatever reason, he did not grab the bull by the horns, and he had every opportunity to do it. Had to been like 2-3 games in a row he was getting the bulk of the carries and just did not grab the bull by the horns. Now, I don't know, because I did not do deep research on it, whether I thought it was him not following the running tracks, whether the blocking was right, the offensive line. I don't know what was going on, but I know this. It just didn't look good on tape. He didn't look like the Trey Benson at Florida State whatsoever. And so I'm sure the people that are doing the evaluations inside the Cardinals building are looking at some of the stuff that I was looking at. Like when he had those opportunities to get the bulk of the carries, he didn't grab the bull by the horns. So for that reason, he may be out here in the wind and an opportunity that who was that asked me that question? Who was that? That was Cornell Bryant. He asked me, he said, "Hey, no, man, who wins the third running back spot?" I don't know. And I think, again, it's going to take when the pads go on. It's going to take when the pads go on, Cornell. And when the pads go on, if they don't see that number 3 running back, this is why this conversation about Trey Benson might be worth having. What up, High Bear Chief? What up, man?
What it do, Chief? Now, highly possible that the third running back is Savion Thomas. Just want to say that out loud as well. But I do think that Coleman Bennett will get a shot because they're going to need a north-south bruiser type back as well back there. So my guess, if I'm guessing, Salvon Ahmed doesn't necessarily make the team. Certain Mr. Johnson does not make the team. And they sort of alternate between lining Xavier up, coming out of a wide receiver's position into the backfield, or Coleman Bennett in situations where you really need to go north-south.
Hey, kids. Go ahead, Trips.
Go ahead with your thought.
No, all I was going to say is me being a Florida State fan and really knowing what Trey Benson's skill set is and knowing how good this offensive line especially is when it's right, when they figure out that I think Trey Benson would eat here in whatever capacity just because of the offensive line. I'm just thinking about some of the tape I've seen. I don't think that Arizona offensive line was really good at all. So, I think that was part of the problem, but, some of these other guys circumvented that. Connor and Bam, they did okay, but they didn't do very well.
No, Connor did. No, Connor did do very well.
He did. He's just a big dude, man.
I'm just saying, Connor's the exception to that rule. Bam had a couple of really good games, And just like you're saying, you would have thought that Trey would have picked up the torch when it was handed to him. He didn't. So it's a bit of a wild card there. I'm a little confused as to why that didn't work out. You're right. Maybe it was O-line, but then you look at these other backs, and I don't know if that was really the situation over there. So I would not be surprised, unfortunately, for Mr. Benson if he falls out of favor in Arizona.
Yeah, and my comment was actually, all right, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Monangai, Roshan Johnson, Britton Brown, Coleman Bennett, Salvon Ahmed. And that was remember when Travis Homer was running back, wasn't he running back 4?
Sure.
And but he was only a special teams guy, basically. So if they do, however, get Xavier Thomas on the roster, whether it be at wide receiver 5 or 6 or running back 3 or 4, he's going to have his skill set and do what he does. But it's just, how do they, divvy up the roster spots?
Well, this is you're nailing it, right? So I have a feeling they're going to keep him as a wide receiver. That being said, they may shrink the RB room, right? And that's really what I was sort of alluding. They may shrink it. This past year, we had 4 guys. One of those 4 guys did absolutely nothing with respect to the RB room.
Don't be crazy, kids. You got to keep 4 running backs, man.
I'm not being crazy. Like,
that's crazy. You have to keep 4 running backs.
Well, last year they kept 2. Well,
you only saw 2.
Well, they had Britton Brown on the practice squad, and he came up like a game or 2.
I got to say this, man. I love this comment. I'm sorry, y'all. I love this by High Bear Chief right here. He says, maybe with the Bears' ability to stretch the field, we might see a different Trey Benson. That's kind of what I was alluding to. The strength of your offensive line, like no running back, I don't give a damn. You better be Walter Payton and Barry Sanders, and your line is irrelevant. Other than that, no running back is any more as good as his offensive line.
And then put it like this: I'm also not going to be mad at a 23-year-old 6-foot guy, 220 pounds, that's running a 4.3, 4.4, being in competition, for a roster spot.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
You're looking at a different guy. High Bear Chief is right. That's kind of where I'm going, man. Like you this offensive line, you get different production out of a guy like this. He's a big physical running back. And that can tote the ball on 1st down, 3rd down, 4th down, and you're getting him for nothing. And he needs an opportunity to show that I need to be in a better supportive situation. Because his talent you can't argue with it. He just needs space to show it. And a line that can do that for him is in Chicago.
So
choose wisely, my boy.
So I'm gonna say something else that's a little crazy. But you think they hold on to James Conner?
Who?
Arizona.
No, James Conner wants to be a starter somewhere. It's all about cachet. James Conner has earned starters cachet. He's looking for an opportunity to start somewhere.
Well, he was a starter in Arizona. He's now 31 years old in the running back world. That's pretty old in the running back world.
Because the starter in Arizona is going to be Love and then backed up Andor Algiers.
This is what I'm saying. So there might be another cap casualty there with respect to Conner in the running back room as well.
There's a role for him somewhere. He'll get an opportunity to start, but it don't look like I know it ain't in Arizona. He knows it too.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it is in Arizona. I think he will also be a cap casualty. I know we're focusing on Trey Benson, but now I'm staring at this Arizona roster, and Conner could fall out too. I don't think. Yeah, 31 is ancient in running back years. Like it's not a spring. You know what I mean? You're not a spring chicken, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like he's getting up there.
Hey kids, I'll give you the perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
And this just happened recently, and it took a couple years for it to manifest itself. You, me, and Trips and everybody else in the world knows that David Montgomery is a starting running back. And I knew it was just going to be a matter of time before David Montgomery was going to feel a little bit like, man, come on, man. Jahmyr Gibbs just getting all the carries, and I got to be. And he went to a spot. He finally said, you know what, enough of this. And he let the management know, man, put me somewhere I can play, man. I want to get on the field, man. I'm a starting running back. And now he's going to be the starting running back in Houston. So that's in comparison to your James Conner conversation.
I'm not sure if he's going to be the starter.
Who,
Monty?
Oh, he's going to be the starter.
Who else? Who else is he competing with?
I got to check that Houston roster right now for
because he was good with teamwork, but he just the lack of fleet of footness is his detriment.
He's a starter.
I told you.
He's just a little slow.
He's replacing a guy we're going to talk about in a little bit. Don't mention it. No.
I won't mention that name. Wow.
Yeah. You only have so many years on your NFL body. And you ain't gonna, even though you might have loved what they had going on in Detroit, you want to get a little disillusioned with it, knowing that you got more to you than what they putting on display in Detroit. He's like, man, send me somewhere I can play. I gave you everything I can give you, man. Send me somewhere I can get on the field. I'm a starter.
Well, he made the mistake of going to Detroit.
I thought so too, but he thought he was going to get a ring out of that, and he didn't.
Yeah, he made the mistake of going to Detroit, and that was what it was. It's an unfortunate reality. Strangely, at some point last year, and this is why I was like, he's not the starter in Houston. At some point last year, Houston may have had 8 running backs in the room. It was like a crazy stacked room. And to be straight up, like I would say 4 of those backs were high caliber. So Woody Marks is the guy who's behind David Montgomery right now. He's a solid running back too. But yeah, right now, you're right. I think that David Montgomery might start over there, which means potentially, let's see what the age on David Montgomery is. He's probably he's 20. He's 29. He's got
trip.
He's got 2 years. You got 2 years on.
All right, let's not about this conversation about Trey Benson, man, because Trey Benson, to me, I know he's a high quality football player, just mired in a bad situation in Arizona, in my opinion. And I just believe that you put him in front of a really solid offensive line like we have in Chicago, your perspective on Trey Benson changes immediately.
Well, there's one other part of this. And it's Ben Johnson.
Yep.
Right. I can really see Ben Johnson utilizing a player like this in high caliber, man. He can scheme up and come up with some kind of different thing to do with the Trey Benson. So by all means, let him fall out of favor in Arizona. I think it would be to Ben Johnson's benefit for sure.
No doubt. But let's talk about it. Since we're talking about running backs, we should talk about another one that I know you're familiar with, kids.
Maybe yeah, you might as well.
This is 28-year-old Ty Johnson out of Buffalo, 5'10", 210 pounds. Let me tell you, first thing about Ty Johnson that I have to point out, it's like 210 pounds does not tell you how strong this guy runs a football. He runs more like a 230, 35-pound running back. He's a really, really, really strong running back that it stays true. And this is what's going to really attract a guy like Ben Johnson and what they want to do. They are really specific about, and I remember the conversations with Eric Bieniemy and Ben Johnson talking about he wants to coach these guys to stay on the running track. And when I say the running track, that simply means how it's blocked up. That's the lane we want you to run through. How it's set up, we want you to stay true to it the best you can. Now, if somebody shoots a gap and gets around your ankles and you have to, do an ad lib on the play, that's another thing. But so long as the blocking is presenting itself, this is the lane you're supposed to run through. You get a cut and you get upfield. Ty Johnson is the epitome of that. That's what's going to make this particular guy, if he gets cut, attractive to Ben Johnson. He's a power runner. He's a track runner. What I mean by track, again, you staying true to your lane, the running lane. And he's a great receiver out of the backfield. Ferocious pass protector, all that in one. So he's everything in a running back. You can pass protect.
He's a 4.2 guy.
I'm just gonna say he's a lot faster than anybody would give him credit for. 4.2 ish, 4.3 and change ish. Really depends on who's clicking the clicker. You know what I mean? Like who's taking the time. But he's a lot, and you can see it when he puts his foot down. You can see that speed. Good luck catching him. But he likes to go just straight up north-south. He'll run you down. He'll run you over. So it's, again, interesting back. I am going to give the negative side of this particular player as well, though. He kind of quickly fell out of favor in Buffalo, man.
Probably fumbling.
That has not helped him. Keeping the ball in his hands.
Hold his shit, Buffalo. And that ball is like snot slick, boy.
Well, I'm not sure if it's getting any better in Chicago, but
it's like that. But you can coach that out of a player, man.
Fair. I am going to see again that fumble bug definitely caught up with him. But it ain't just that. So he's been replaced by. He's 20 years old. He's been replaced by, I believe, 3, if not 4 running backs at this point. So most definitely, I would be shocked if they continue to keep him on the roster this time around. This year, dollars and cents have sort of creeped up. They're going to have to pay this particular player. I'd be shocked if they keep Ty Johnson on the team, and it's not for lack of ability at all, but. They've moved on with James Cook as well as Ray Davis. There's a couple of backs sort of in front of him at this point, so I do see him falling out of favor and winding up in free agency.
They just got DJ. They ain't gonna be able to afford Ty Johnson.
There you have that. One more reason to sort of clear out some additional cap room, right? So I highly doubt they're going to be spending, real running back contract money on Ty Johnson, unfortunately, in this case, especially after the signing of DJ Moore. You're right.
This is a good supplementary back that at times I watch a lot of him on film too. Because I watch a lot of Buffalo. I don't know why. It must be some of the guys that they have. I watch a lot of offensive line playing Buffalo. And this guy, you would not know sometimes the way he plays. And some of the explosives that he makes, and you keep asking yourself, how come he's not the starter? But when you got James Cook in front of you, he's never going to be the starter. So he's got starter quality to him as a running back. A number 2 or 3 in Chicago with Ty Johnson, our running back room just took a whole nother step. A whole nother step. If he's anywhere in that running back rotation with what we have on the roster, you can forget it. You can forget it. And what's the dollar value on this guy, Trips? What are you looking at there? You muted, bro.
Yeah. Unknown right now because I don't have any estimates, but
3 to 5 million probably.
It's going to be low wallet share money.
Yeah, it's not going to be
3 to 5. 3 to 5 is my guess.
It might be a fair amount less than that. The only reason I'm saying that is, again, he's been replaced a couple of times. He wasn't starting. He didn't tote the rock very much at all last year.
Right, because his last contract was $2.5 million a year.
Yeah,
2-year, $5 million deal. So
yeah, so $5 million for 2 years makes sense. I think you could probably get him for about 1.5 a year, maybe on a 2-year deal at this particular juncture. But that's just me.
I think he's a high quality supplementary back. I mean, when I say high quality, he's up there at the top of any backup running back in the league, in my opinion. I don't know too many backup running backs as good and qualified in every area that you need him to be. I'm talking about as a receiver, as a short yardage back, as a whatever down and distance you need, pass protector. I mean, he does it all, bro. That's why he stuck around in Buffalo. I'm sure they want to pay him, but they know they probably can't. And so this is going to be a gift for somebody in this offseason, and I hope it's Chicago.
You think they want to pay him in Buffalo?
Yeah, hell yeah, he's good, man.
I don't. Again, I
He's
find that
good,
idea
man.
hard to believe, just because they drafted at the running back position twice over this particular player.
They know they can't keep this guy.
Well, they could have.
That's what happens in the NFL, man. When a guy prices himself out by his play. And that's when teams, knowing salary cap structure, have to go young. And no matter how they might like a player, they know they might have to just part ways with him. Unfortunately, that's how the game goes.
Yeah.
It's not because he can't. Man, this guy is a dog. Ty Johnson is a dog. Make no mistake about that. And they want to keep him. He brought some of the personality to Buffalo's offense, man. He's a dog. But that's Ty Johnson out of Buffalo, possibly soon to be a cap casualty. 28 years old, 5'10", 210 pounds. I think would be a super good fit here in Chicago, 110%. But here we go with the next guy. This is going to be interesting. A little bit older trip, so don't. I'm glad he ain't on here. This is Grover Stewart. Let me tell you, he's 32 years old, 6'4", 315 pounds, right there in that category where Dennis Allen likes him. Let me just be openly clear about what this guy is. Number one, he's drafted out of a HBCU, late 6th, 7th round pick, and worked and built himself into the player that he is. This is during the Flus time in Indianapolis. That was a great defense they had going on in Indianapolis. Some great players on that defense. This guy, let me tell you something. You look at the tape on Grover Stewart from where he started to where he's at right now, and he's the epitome of, when you heard Flus tell this story that he thinks that D tackles and defensive linemen get better as they age, Grover Stewart is the epitome of that. He's just gotten better and better and better and better. Perfect example of how. DeForest Buckner, who's the one of the best three techniques in the league, got hurt. He had some kind of neck injury and missed a significant portion of the season, which is why they ended up bringing Neville Gallimore ended up playing a lot of reps because DeForest Buckner got hurt. And that's what some of the better reps I've seen Neville Gallimore take is because DeForest Buckner got hurt. Now he's playing a lot of three technique. Neville Gallimore is, but for the first time in his entire career, Grover Stewart is getting supplemented in there at three technique. He's getting moved away from the nose tackle and getting the three technique role and playing the dog crap out of it. I mean, playing it. Grover Stewart is at the peak of his career right now and getting better at 32 years old. This guy, Big Grove, is a stud. You understand me? If Indianapolis has to let him go, that's going to be a sad day for their defense. A very sad day. Now, if Grover Stewart is out there on the market, now this guy in particular, he will not be out there long. Top 2 or 3 nose tackles in the league. At times is the best. That's how sure I am about this cat right here. He is a horse, a workhorse, and a run plug. And he knows the system because that's all he's played since he's been in the league is in a 3-4 front. He knows everything. All he'd have to do is come here and learn the verbiage. And off he goes. One of the best nose tackle I've seen in the past 10 years.
So why do you think this guy's a cap casualty?
Because they're changing. And he's getting older, and Grover Stewart probably. I'd say Grover Stewart in the real world probably deserves $10 million a year, but he's not going to get it because he's 32. And they'll use that against him. But they're changing things up in Indianapolis. They're going to probably lose Kenny Moore, too. I don't know if you heard that. But, yeah, they're getting old. That defense is getting a little older, and they feel like they need to get a little younger and, restructure some stuff. And Grover Stewart might be a casualty of it, but this guy is going to, wherever he goes, some team is going to win a goddamn on Super Bowl.
Yeah, this one I think they bite the bullet and they keep him. It's just because
nah, they ain't gonna keep him.
I don't. They might not. What's the dead cap here?
We did Juju. We did a.
You know what? The dead cap is actually promising here. So they could cut him here. Dead cap is only. This is the out. Dead cap's only $2 million. They are kind of on the hook for about 13 mil, if they 14 and change if they keep him. So this is a tough one. You have the guy under contract. You spend a bunch of money. I don't really see them having somebody that that could just step up and clearly replace him.
No.
And that's the problem to me, and that's the reason why I think they might just hold on to
it's a lot of money, man.
They have. What's that? It is a lot of money, but the other thing is we are talking about the Colts. They don't
they got Tommy down there?
Tommy who?
Adebore?
Yeah,
he's a 3-tech, man.
Yeah, he's there. Nah, he's well, yeah, no, he's a 3-tech as opposed to a nose. You're right. They don't really have. They have Cam Ball. Like they don't really have.
It's good as a
really have a fair replacement for him. Like they could move Tommy over.
As good as a 3 technique as DeForest Buckner is, as good as a slot corner that Kenny Moore is, Grover Stewart has been the best player consistently on this defense for at least 3 years. And that's only because DeForest has been in and out of the lineup because he's getting a little nicked up in his older age. But Grover Stewart has been the best player on this defense for 3 years consistently. And that consistency sticks out to coaches. They know ain't nothing going to change if you put him in a different helmet and shoulder pads with a different jersey. Grover Stewart is a big bro. They don't call him big bro for nothing, man. He's dominant. It's another opportunity for us out here. I've been loving this player for at least since we got Flus over here. I really started paying attention to him, and that's been some years ago. But I watch him every single offseason. I want to see what Grover's been up to. Man,
it would be an interesting dynamic having him and Neville together here on this line. Actually, it'd be very interesting.
What do you think Neville is? Do you know how much Neville weighs?
He's probably like about 300.
Okay, so that's not particularly nose tackle weight.
No.
So Neville Gallimore, they probably want him more as a 3 technique. So when I'm talking about nose guard specifically, Grover Stewart is head and shoulders above anything we have on the roster right now.
I would agree.
Easily. He's just Big Grover's a dog. I mean, a dog. He made himself into this guy. He's self-made. And so at 32 years old, I know that might look a little like, oh man, we need with an old player like that. Dog, some of these guys just, hey, get better with time. All right. So the price tag on him is, what do we say, kids?
10-ish.
10-ish. I think he deserves 10, but I think he deserves 10. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if we can get him at
that's my problem with it, right? Like 10 for a 32-year-old man odds are he's gonna want. He's not trying to come. This ain't prove it capacity. You know what I mean? Like he's well established. He wants 10, and he probably gonna want a couple of years. I don't even know if the Bears have that kind of, you know what I mean? That kind of cap space to even have a conversation with a Grover Stewart.
He ends up on the Chiefs and ends up on the damn Packers or something, and we mad about it.
Damn, that would make me mad.
Man, I'm telling you, this is a hoss right here, boy.
Yeah.
Grover Stewart, 32 years old, 6'4", 315 pounds, possibly a cap casualty, man, but we will see. Man, I love this football player right here. All right. This is a little more interesting. Another D tackle.
Yes.
Who remembers this cat? Mozzie Smith out of Michigan. First with the Dallas Cowboys, ended up getting traded, ended up with the Jets, and he's definitely not long for this roster.
Why would you say he's not long for the Jets roster?
Because he's not. All you gotta do is just do a little homework, and you'll know that, you know, the minute they made the trade for him, it was all about just getting what they can get out of number 95 that they traded to the Cowboys. I forget his name right now.
Lawrence?
No. The D tackle.
What
is it?
Why am I blanking out on the D tackle?
Washington?
No.
Help me out,
hold on. I got you, man. Just give me a second. Quinnen Williams. He's actually listed as a DE. Would you believe that?
Yeah,
he's an edge.
That's crazy. So Quinnen Williams, he got, you know, sprinkled into some of the sweetness that got Quinnen Williams in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so I think from what I heard right off the get-go, you know, Mozzie Smith wasn't going to be long for this roster because he's 24 years old coming. He's got to prove it. Now, let me just tell you what I saw on film with Mozzie Smith, even in Dallas. And I didn't see much in New York, but I was just looking heavily at the Dallas tape. One of the things about Mozzie is, in my opinion, I think Mozzie, he in Chicago, let's just say we grabbed him and decided to start working on him, immediately dropped 15 pounds, and he's a problem. Because I don't know if he just wasn't recognizing, you know, the snap counts and wasn't getting off the ball with the line of scrimmage, with the defensive lineman, because he just wasn't seeing it or hearing it. I don't know what it was, but he's just a little slow off the ball. Something that I didn't notice when he was at Michigan. I didn't notice that whatsoever. Somehow he gets to Dallas and him getting off the ball, you know, quickly is inconsistent. I don't know what the hell that's all about. I can't tell you that I know it, but I know I saw it on tape, and it was kind of like, man, what's going on with you? Something's amiss here, and I don't know exactly what it is, but he's too young and too talented for teams not to say, you know what, we want to keep our core young. We're gonna work on this guy, love on him, and get him where he needs to be. Maybe trim a few pounds off of him and get him back explosive like he was at Michigan. That's my opinion about what I think he should do. I think he should drop 15 pounds, get about 315, 320, and I think he's going to be fire.
Well, I like this kid a lot coming out. I don't know if y'all remember, he didn't do a whole lot on like combine week. He didn't do a lot, but he hit the bench. And when he hit the bench, he left everybody's. I don't remember how many presses he did, but it was like it was like a crazy number. This kid is super strong, great run defender. The question is, again, get off and getting upfield and getting pressure. You're not going to get a lot of that out of Mozzie Smith, unfortunately, unless, as Nomad is saying, maybe he drops that 37 pounds. You know what I mean? If he drops that 37, we might see a more svelte and a quicker version of Mozzie Smith. But at present time, what you're getting is one of the better run defenders in the NFL, and I'm kind of surprised he doesn't get used. Now, I'm also looking at this particular God, the New York Jets are a brutal team to look at.
They've got loaded along their defensive front, kid. That's all.
Their defensive front is really interesting, even though they traded off a bunch of talent last season. In front of Mozzie Smith, they've got Darrell Jackson Jr., who they just drafted. They've got Tavondre Sweat, who's a monster. Who else do they got? Harrison Phillips. Like they've got things that they could potentially do, and if you're looking at this depth chart, Mozzie's right at the very back. So I don't know. Potential for him falling out with this squad does exist. I think he would actually bring, like, from a fit perspective, I think he actually fits here. It's not going to get you again. You're not going to get deep in the backfield. But if you're worried about stuff in the run, and you lost Andrew Billings, and you don't really have, a player dedicated to that capacity, you might be able to get this young 24-year-old at a pretty. He would still be on his rookie deal, right? You can get a relatively low wallet share for sure.
Do it all just made a statement. He says he doesn't look like a fit for Dennis Allen's defense. He likes the smaller, quicker D tackles from 290 to 320 max. He doesn't fit. That's exactly.
Can't argue with that.
Take that 15 pounds off of him. He's a monster.
Yeah, drop that. Again, he would be a viable nose, just run stuffing capability. But I do have to agree with Do It All. He's not really a Dennis Allen fit.
As it sits right now, that's the first thing they would. I think that's the first thing Dennis Allen would want to do is look at his tape in college and be like, heck, how can we get you back to this kind of explosive? He was heavy in college, but for whatever reason, the NFL and the consistency and the strength of these pro players have slowed him down tremendously. And I think to combat that, your average and your wise defensive coordinator would say, we're going to get you more explosive. We're going to get 15 pounds off of you. We're going to get 15 pounds off of you and see what this looks like for you. You're going to feel better.
So, JCN, Dallas moved off of this player more specifically because they got Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark took his job. Right? They upgraded at the position and wound up moving him off when they got the edge rusher from the Jets. So I'm not really sure if this was a situation where Dallas fell out with the player, or if it's just that they upgraded, gave his job away, and really didn't need the player anymore.
Hey, kid, you remember how excited people was over Mozzie Smith a couple years ago when he was coming out of Michigan?
Brother, he was mocked to the Bears quite frequently, actually.
And this is why I tell people all the time, I don't care how good they are in college. The NFL is another kind of game, and you gotta make your way, and you're playing around all world everything. And now you gotta pave your way through this here. So it's all development. I would not give up on Mozzie Smith. He's a high-end young talent. And I mean super duper high-end young talent that needs a little time to round the edges off a little bit. And that's just exactly where Mozzie Smith is, in my opinion. It wasn't horrible. The things I saw on tape wasn't the best. The worst thing I can say about Mozzie Smith right now is it's been inconsistent. The flashes are there. It's just inconsistent. All he needs to be around is some good players, some good sound coaches that's going to support him.
Well, this is another instance where, Nomad has his sayings or words of wisdom or advice, or, his nomad nuggets, if you will. Just right there off top of the dome, kids. Just came up with that right there. Nice. But Nomad, he's always mentioned that even though we are looking at draft prospects now, that scouting report stays, in the hard drive for when these prospects are now free agents or, going to be tradable. Now we're talking about Mozzie Smith, somebody that, we looked at mocks a few seasons back, possibly being, available as a June 1st cut. And it's like, remember that guy? And it's like, yeah, because, we forecasted him here. We looked at him because he was, from Michigan. whatever reason. But now is the opportunity to go back and be like, oh yeah, we looked at this guy. This is what the prognosis was then, and this is what he's done thus far. But this is that circle moment, where things come full circle, where it's like, hey, this is a guy that we looked at as a prospect, and now he's back.
Look at how it works, man. Stuff runs full circle that way. I mean, you're right, man. It's they're great in college, and this college, man. When they get in this league, you got to prove it.
Well,
it does take defensive linemen some time, man, because you got to put some tools in your bag, man. It takes you 2-3 years to do it.
And the question is whether he has done that at this point or not. And I can't say that he has, or he probably wouldn't be bouncing around, around the league. There were concerns about this player, and that's part and parcel as to why the Bears did not draft him. They actually skipped him twice in that draft. And the concerns was, again, not a heck of a lot of get off. He's really just
Hey, kids, King just got here. You want to fill him in right quick while we talking about Mazi?
Sure. We're talking about Mazi Smith because we just went through a bunch of potential cap casualties over the course of the next week that may fall off of certain rosters and might potentially find their way over to the Chicago Bears.
Ron Renarski, you being an asshole, but a good one.
But it's true, though. He does have big biceps, and he can bench the hell out of a press. Like, he can bench press with the best of them. I don't know, how that helps him with get off and getting deep into the backfield. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but he can sure bench press.
Hey, man, it's only a matter of time before this guy's a monster in the league. It's just taking him a little bit more time, and it's humility that's happening with Mazi Smith right now. It's humility, and I hope he's taking it and using it as fuel. And I would like to see the benefits of that as an inspired big. He's a bear. I mean, literally, he's a bear and stronger than everybody else around him. He's just got to put some tools in the bag, polish them up, and know exactly when and how to use them. And it takes time to do that in the NFL. These are all world football players, the best football players in the world. And you ain't just going to come in the league and just muscle everybody around like you did in college. It's not going to work like that. You got to have a skill set here.
And JCN and King Booker, he very similar scope as to Javon Dexter with the problems that plagued this guy. Difference between him and Dexter is Dexter dropped the weight, and it still hasn't found that second burst, that quick first step. Mind you, the reason why I'm slightly interested in this conversation is I know that the Bears could potentially get this player for next to nothing. If he's cut, they can get him for something ridiculously low wallet share.
1.2.
And the question is, can they develop this player into what they require?
This is the perfect time to grab him.
That's why it's of interest to me.
Give him some time, tuck him off, give him some time to work, get in tune with what they're asking him to do, and just polish his skill set. Get him in the training room, get him right, and you never know. You just never know. I'm taking a gamble on him if I'm inside that building. If I see him just laying around on the floor out there, hell yeah, I want some of that. And if prove me wrong, if the rest of the league is wrong, then we'll be wrong. But I'm betting high on this.
Somebody's gonna make this particular mistake. You know what I mean? Like, or genius gamble. I don't know which one it really will be. But somebody's gonna grab Mazi Smith if he's cut, if he's available. Somebody's gonna grab him at low wallet share and try to do something with him. God only knows who that particular team is gonna be.
All right. This is Mazi Smith, possible cap casualty, 24 years old, with the Jets, 6'3", 337 pounds. My man, I would just say, Mazi, just trim some weight, man. I think you're going to be way more explosive and a much more attractive football player, and you're going to make some money. Just got to trim a little bit of weight off, man. That's just how it is in the NFL. These are great football players, and you gotta know that. But one more player to talk about, and before I even put him on the screen, let me just say this. We're talking about this way later into camp after football pads are on. Joe Mixon, 29 years old, 6'1", 220 pounds, had a mysterious foot injury that cost him pretty much camp and then pretty much the entire season last year that nobody really knows the answers to right now. He's had some kind of surgery on it and seems to be doing well. This is what is being told. Haven't seen any footage out there of him working out, how he looks on his foot, putting weight on it. Seen nothing. But Joe Mixon, let me tell you something. If we so happen to, and every freaking team runs into this at some point in the camp, they beat up the running backs, and next thing you know, we need to sign somebody. If this guy is available somehow and we get our hands on Joe Mixon, come on now. Kid, you had some conversation in the studio. You want to have it now?
Look, I love this particular player. I think this player put the team on his back as far as Houston is concerned when he got there. And the Houston Texans had a plethora of running backs.
I think they're in the Super Bowl if they had a healthy Joe.
If Joe was healthy, they probably would have gone. I don't know how you stop him. Like CJ Stroud and the wide receivers is one thing, but stopping this guy's a whole other thing. Joe Mixon's 29. All right. Damn. Like, here's my only question. And it's the obvious question. It's like, what is this going to cost? You know what I mean? So like Joe Mixon's coming off
not much because of what just happened with him the entire 2025 season.
You might be bang on. This may be Joe Mixon prove it year, right? You get a contract, you do what you got to do. If you can get on the field and be effective, you earn yourself another contract. But I don't know, man. This guy, $25 million contract potentially before this. You never know if he can get back to form. Oh boy, would he have an impact in Chicago?
Joe Mixon on his own is an elite running back, number one.
Yes, sir.
But Joe Mixon missing an entire season and having all these question marks surrounding him in a situation where they had to cut him in a prove it situation. Give me that Joe Mixon. Give me that.
Angry Joe Mixon trying to prove the damn theory.
Give me that Joe Mixon. He knows he's only going to be here a year, and he'll tear this shit up. He'll tear it. Give me that Joe Mixon. That's the only reason I want to sign Joe Mixon, because of everything that the parameters I just laid out. That Joe Mixon. Give me that.
FFG, I'm with you, man, but I don't think they can. I don't think they can.
Just read what he's saying. Just show him some love.
Sure. Big ups to FFG, man. Instead of prove it deals, we need to make a trade for a premier pass rusher, even if some draft capital is involved, to make D reach the top 10, to allow the foundation to be set for years to come. Again, I do agree with this theory. The problem is I don't think they have the money to do this. I think the money is tied up in places where they can't really move it, and the other places within that it might be tied up in smaller capacity are with players that you actually really need in 2026, right? Like if we're talking about Tyreek and DeAndre Swift, like these are contracts you probably need. Maybe Jalen Johnson, you probably need to have a Jalen Johnson given the present case scenario. I don't know. You can't move Dale. You can't move Grady. You just can't. I don't know what you know what I mean? I don't know what you do in that respect. So I've resigned myself to the idea that just won't happen. You know what I mean? Like it's just not gonna. I don't think they can do it.
I don't know what happened with Joe Mixon, but my sneaky suspicion that gene in me that I have, something happened that they're kind of hiding. I'm talking about he probably fell out with a coach or something. Something happened where it went left in Houston. And that ain't the worst thing in the world with 20-year-old people. You know what I mean? Yeah, shit happens, man. Personality conflicts and all kinds of things happen. Doesn't mean he's a bad person or a bad guy. He just ran into resistance with people around him. And that's just my opinion, man. I just sneakily suspect that something like that might be going on, and they just kind of colored it up with this injury stuff. They can do that in the NFL. You get caught doing that, you're in trouble, but you can do that and get away with it. You can do that. People do it every single week in the NFL. Every week, not every year. Every week, somebody's doing that on the NFL roster, coloring up, making up some kind of injury to make it look like somebody's got something going on, and they really don't. It's just other stuff. It's loyalty to their players, and hey, you was with us, you're gonna stay with us, and whatever's going on with you, don't worry about it. We'll cover your ass. Like a lot of that goes on. And so, anyway, like I said, Joe Mixon, a motivated Joe Mixon is the Joe Mixon I want. That's the guy I want.
Like I said, we'll have to wait and see on this one. It really has a question. The question is all about availability. Is he all right? Is he anything like the Joe Mixon of old? If so, we're the conversation. But at the same time, I'll read what Leo Factor is saying here. Nomad, don't you think bringing in a vet running back ain't a good idea since Swift and Monongai will take most of the carries? A vet running back is more likely to complain than a young RB.
Let me answer that.
Do it.
If you heard, I don't know how long you've been here, Leo. I think you've been here a minute, but before I even brought him up, I said this is way later on in camp. Like after camp is fully underway with pads on, and every year, running backs get beat up in camp. And depending on knocking on wood, hopefully nothing happens so severely that we need to go out and look for a Joe Mixon. But if you have to go and get a lead running back, if something happens, this is the kind of guy you want. And even for a supplementary running back, if you were so lucky to get a Joe Mixon, come on, man. But you're right. I mean, with Swift and Monongai, you're right. There's no much need for Joe Mixon. But we're just trying to get Swift and Monongai to the regular season and get through the beatings that happen in camp. That's all.
Yeah. Strangely, again, in this particular scenario, I don't foresee the Bears actually making this particular move. I wouldn't be mad at it. And when I say I wouldn't be mad at it, it has everything to do with the dollars and cents of this potential contract. As long as they're getting him at prove it deal money, I'm interested. If you ain't getting in that prove it deal money, I'm fine with DeAndre. I'm fine with if we're having this conversation this time last year, I was not fine with DeAndre Swift. Like, just be completely frank with that. DeAndre Swift came on, he came out last year and really solidified himself as a top quality back, especially when you have a viable offensive line. So I'm happy with DeAndre. I'm happy with Kyle, and I do think they'll get a lot out of Xavier Thomas in that speed back capacity. The question to me now is more: can you find a north-south back, more of a bruiser that you can layer in situations where you need to get a single yard? And I think that guy might be Coleman Bennett.
And we'll see, man. This is Joe Mixon. We're talking about, again, to Leo's point. We're talking about somewhere after the pads come on, and hopefully we got 2-3 healthy running backs, 4 in particular, coming out of camp, and we don't need a Joe Mixon. And this conversation is irrelevant. I'm just bringing this up in the event that we need to go and grab a guy. The fact that he's out there, to me, was worth the conversation, man. That's Joe Mixon, bro. But yeah, man, you know what? Let me get this down.
It's a shame that the NFL is missing the opportunity to, be more in the conversation, because I ain't seen nothing about, possible June 1st casualties, or, cap cuts, or no agents are like, oh yeah, my guy's gonna be out here, and it's tomorrow. It's like, what? NFL, come on, got to keep the soap operas going all off season.
Yeah, you don't want to do that though, because some of these cuts are going to be, know what I mean? Some of these cuts are going to be a little bit surprising and shocking, and you don't really want to put that homie on blast a week before or a couple of days before. You let it happen, and then you get into the news cycle about it. You know what I mean? Oh, like unexpected cut, and you know what I mean? Like, we'll see what next week looks like. I bet you next week will be.
But
pretty
even
wild.
expected cuts, I mean, those still happen, don't they?
Yes, they do. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to rub that shit in. Like we Roshan Johnson is an expected cut. Let's just put it that way. I don't want to rub it in, man.
This is about as crazy and wide open a time that it can be for a GM, and it even included draft, even including free agency, even including your own roster cuts when you have to do that. I'm talking about at the very, end of the season, things like that. This right here has to be the most wild west part of being a GM, because you have to be a little bit vulnerable in the fact that you might have to, unfortunately, let go of somebody on your team that you really think highly of. You got to be that, and you got to be wide ass open at the same time, because you don't know what other teams are going to have to do. So to me, it's a dangerously wild part of being a general manager and having a coaching staff, having all those options open and having guys targeted for what you might be interested in, which is why we talked about so many different players tonight and so many different options. Even the guys that weren't so well known, these are some of the opportunities the Bears will have. And it starts tomorrow, but it doesn't end tomorrow. It carries on through camp.
So I was saving this little nugget for the end of the show, or like towards the end, and I saw Don Burr was here, so all the more reason for me to just slide this in there. So y'all think? I think there's potential that Detroit might fumble the signing of a certain Mr. Gibbs, and it would be super cool just to piss off Don Burr mostly. I think it would be super cool if there was a Jahmyr Gibbs, Ben Johnson, reunited situation in Chicago in a year or two.
I hate to bake your potato, but that's the one thing they're gonna get right.
Think so? Okay.
They're gonna pay the shit out of him.
We're gonna find out, because running backs in this league tend not to get paid.
Well, isn't he basically their offense though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So if they let Monty walk, they re-sign Captain Jack. So they got some money to spend, and so it seems as though a PR.
What Scrolls is saying
it would
down
be
there?
A PR nightmare to let him not get paid.
Man, you mean like
Trips? Let me tell you something. Jahmyr Gibbs is the most probably has to be the most secure. In the most secure situation in the NFL. He knows he has him over the barrel. It's just about whether or not how much over the barrel does Detroit want to get, and how handicapped and hamstrung will this contract make them. I think that's all the bologna and mustard is right now, is how much is this really going to cost us? We know we got to do it. We don't have an offense unless he's there. And so they're in a tight ass spot if you ever want to imagine a team being in when they're gonna have to pay him. They bring the Brinks truck to his house.
Well,
they gotta give him more than Saquon.
Yeah,
they will
for sure.
Yeah, they will.
So that's going you're talking about 18-20 a year.
What? Man, dude should be getting like 20.
Saquon get 15?
I don't think so. Saquon might have got 15. I don't think he did though. I think it's a little bit lower than that.
Yeah, Saquon money ain't shit compared to what Jahmyr about to get.
Yeah, I think Jameer will get more.
Well, that's pushing close to 20 then.
He gonna get 20 plus.
Oh damn. So that's gonna reset the running back market then.
Jameer Gibbs is the best player in the NFL, in my opinion, besides Myles Garrett or somebody like that. Best player in the NFL.
He definitely gets the job done. I'm just saying they might have a little bit of a hard time paying him again. Running backs don't get paid; they get traded, they get overdrafted. They're great for 4 years when they're cheap. Generally, don't get paid by the team who drafts them. Detroit got a whole bunch of other people to pay. Like Don, you listed a whole bunch of people that they paid. They got to pay all those people. Those people make the cap thinner.
And who said Bears fans was begging for Gibbs? I ain't heard that.
Hey, Trips, Jameer Gibbs sitting at the house whenever that bat phone rings, he picks up the phone and says, "Motherfucker, the mistake you making is thinking this is a negotiation." Click. This ain't no goddamn negotiation. Sign, get my shit on paper the way I told you.
I want all them zeros.
He gonna get it
as he well should. And again, pretty sure Saquon said the same thing. He left New York. Pretty sure Derrick Henry probably said the same thing. He's now in Baltimore. This list is exponential, by the way. I just want to say that running backs tend not to get paid by the team that drafted them. So take that for what it is.
Running back's gonna be thanking Jameer Gibbs for a long time for this.
When he gets his money, you're damn straight, because he will be the reset, whether it's by Detroit or by somebody else. He will be the reset of that running back.
Yeah, like Kitty Cat Bird saying over here, he was a top 10 running back pick. So that's going to be that top 10 taxation.
I remember, and I said this a few times on the show. I'm gonna get this clip. I remember being on whatever one of them shows with Aldo, and he asked me, he's like, "Hey, Nomad," he said, "Who do you think the best running back is in this draft?" And without hesitation, I told him Jameer Gibbs, and he was just like, "Really?" I was like, "Oh yeah, he's the best. He's the most explosive thing I've seen in 10 years. He can do it all." And lo and behold, the modern Detroit Lions are built off of Jameer Gibbs, not Jared Goff.
Is this his contract year, Gibbs's?
He came out 3 years ago, so he's going into his 4th year.
End of this year's is contract year. They'll have to.
Because they can still do the 5th-year option thing.
They could.
The dumbest thing
I'm going to verify that. I think he's on his 5th year already.
Because I'm just thinking
he's within his 5th year. Yeah.
It's like, all right, Monty's gone. They brought in Pacheco, cool. But I'm thinking the percentage of carries or usage in the offense is going to go up exponentially for Gibbs.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's going to put a lot of wear on the tires, quickly.
Okay, so he's in the 4th year of his 5-year case scenario. Man, next year is his big money, so they kind of have to make that. They kind of have to figure this out between now and next year. They can franchise tag him. They could do that.
They need to settle this.
I'm just saying they could franchise tag him next year, and that would sort of push him towards, unrestricted free agency in 2028.
Think about this. And it sounds like an easy thing to do when you're talking about from the administrative side of handling football business. But think about what something like that would do to a football player when you're supposed to be getting that bank. Oh, you think you're finna get the same Jameer Gibbs? I'm finna show you something. That's why they need to hurry up and get this shit out the way. He needs to get paid, Don. He got to be paid. He got to be paid. There ain't
Well,
no
you know,
ifs, ands,
but
or buts about this.
D toilet's gonna D toilet. So
All right. I tell you what, man, this is I just enjoyed the research side of some of these guys that I'm looking at all these different podcasts and all these Bears content creators talk about, you know, the most obvious thing in the world, but nobody wants to do the deep dive into some of these guys that the Bears could particular that might be really good fits for what we do. And we took the time tonight to make sure that you guys get familiar with a few names that you may or may not have been familiar with. And so hope you guys appreciated it, man, because I enjoy it. I know we all did enjoy bringing it to you, man. So you guys don't be surprised if some of them names pop up on the radar in the next 24 to 48 hours. Just say the Nomad Network told you so. But yeah, man, we got to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up and get ready for Wednesday night on some extra sauce, where I'm sure we'll have a whole nother slew of different Bears conversations to have there, because there'll be a lot happening. I'm thinking, whether it's with the Bears or with other teams, but it'll be some things happening. Might be some trades, I'm thinking, between now and the next time we're on some extra sauce, man. I think it might be some heavy duty trades that happen here, man. At least one or two. And so that's what happens after June 1st. A lot of those kind of things happen. But
and then also we should know where the Bears will be calling home as the clock is ticking down for the Illinois, state legislature to make a move for the funding or the deal to keep the Bears in Illinois. But there's a late push from the representatives in the Chicago proper to keep them in the city. And they so petty, kids and Nomad, that they like, nah, screw Arlington Heights, because it's further away from the city than Hammond is. So it's either we keep them in Chicago or we want them in Hammond, for the city leadership, because it's still closer. They don't get nothing about the state, or it's all politics, but it's coming down to 0 hour right about now.
all right,
So
let me give us, hold on, man. We got
yeah, give some love to Leo Factor.
Shout out to Leo with the $4.99 super chat, man. He appreciated the show tonight, and we appreciate Leo being here, man. Had nothing to say. He was just showing some love for what we did tonight, man. We broke it down real well and showed some opportunities for the Bears. Kind of spread the conversation out like that tonight. So thank you. I was about to respond to you. Who was that? Jay Grizz said, "Oh, hold on, man. We're not taking it up to midnight tonight. Oh, man, people got to do little freaky things, with their ladies and shit like that. So,
Oh, damn.
But real quick poll question. If you had to pick one flavor, are you going with the ranch?
Old school.
Are you going with the cracked pepper? Are you going with the honey roasted? Or are you going with the barbecue? Sunflower seeds.
Old school, just plain.
Damn, you just beat up the convenience store, didn't you?
Well, I like a variety. Like different flavors.
I'm not a sunflower seeds guy, man. I'll just put that out there. Yeah.
Oh, hold on, man. Hold on. We got another one. Shout out to Jay Grizz for the $1.99 love, man. We love you back, bro, man. Y'all make sure y'all understand that this ain't nothing but love, man.
Mm-hmm.
This ain't nothing but love, man. It's just love for the Bears and love for the community, man. I got as much love for you, Jay Grizz, and everybody here as y'all got for what we do over here, man. Trust me, it's reciprocated, man, and we mean it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too feminine for my blood, man. It's my thing, man.
Oh man, you got to be a soft ass.
I'm just saying. I remember when I was a little shorty, man. These the little girls used to, they used to eat the sunflower seeds and they spit them at you. Show that they liked you. And stuff.
Hold on, man. So first we can't eat hot dogs because they renamed them glizzies. Can't eat hot dogs. Now we can't eat spit sunflower seeds.
You can. Hey, look. To each his own. Everybody can do whatever the F they want to do.
Nobody's young.
I'm just saying. I'm not.
It's feminine if you make it that way.
I'm just saying. In my experience,
dang,
the little shorties used to spit sunflower seeds at me because they wanted to get with me. That was all.
They ate pickles too. You don't eat pickles either.
I'm not like real talk. Not the biggest pickle guy. I've only more recently started to do the pickle thing. Not the biggest pickle guy.
Oh man, you can't eat hot dogs. You can't eat pickles. You can't eat sunflower seeds, man.
All that you got the hot dogs thing. I never said nothing about hot dogs, but I guess
he's just the living personification. I stopped through because the Podfather Aldo was over at the Barroom Network the other night over there with Shorty and them, with PJ and Carl and Foster. But Shorty, he was, I don't know, he must have took like some new gummies or something because he had a lot of pontification on the oralification and the philacification of cockazoications.
He was on that catnip again, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he had this thing about orally pleasing. Dude.
Oh Lord.
I don't know.
Was the other Dan on the show with him?
No, Dan.
Just checking.
Leave that shit over there, man.
No, it was weird. It was like
just checking. If the other Dan was there, then everything makes sense.
It's like I ain't yucking nobody's yum because he was all about the yummies at night.
Oh Lord, man. Hey man, you look here. That catnip is real over there. That's all I can tell you.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was scratching something fierce.
I'm just gonna tell you, man. Warning: don't be rolling up to brothers talking about glizzies and talking about what you can and can't do. You can't spit out sunflower seed, man. You ain't got your ass whooped, bro. I'm gonna enjoy my hot dog. Polish.
I had hot dogs tonight, and they were sausages. Man. But I'm not really like a big hot dog guy. Like you'll catch me with a burger anytime. If I have an option, it's a burger, bro. Just saying.
Man, man. You can't. All right, man. One thing you cannot do, man, and I'm telling you guys this as men, you cannot let social media and what people say on social media dictate what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. You know who you are. If you think it's feminine, that's because that's something going on with you.
That's what I just said. You ever heard what I just said on social media before?
I eat hot dogs and Polish all the time, man, in public.
And I wish
hey, Scrolls, and wish a
big bite.
Wish a MF would say something to me.
Just looking at you with long eyes.
I've never said nothing about the whole glizzy thing. I don't care. I don't make no difference to me. But I do prefer a hamburger, so I'll take a hamburger.
I bet you he eats it. He's like Mikey. He'll eat anything. Send that chocolate-covered banana over to the table. I bet you he'll eat it. Watch.
Man, you let people on social media get you self-conscious. You deserve to be self-conscious.
Yeah, I agree with that statement. But that's
but
not
he said, Ked said, I'm not gonna be a meme. Catch in my mouth going over some kind of
man, whatever. I'm like, whatever. Shit, I know what I am. Shit. If you got any questions about it, leave me around your girl, motherfucker. We'll figure it out. Shit.
Oh, watch out.
You don't like that?
But also a shout out to Caleb Williams and his business people, because they came to an agreement with George
Gervin
man thing. George is gonna keep it to basketball. Caleb's gonna keep it to football. And then now I don't know if it's true or not, but there's a like a few days after that deal was announced, there was a Madden cover with Caleb in the all white uniform doing his little Iceman thing, and they got like a whole 30-second clip, like an intro. So it's like, it could be one of those fake covers or real. I don't know, but it was pretty cool.
It's an internet room right now.
But it was cool that they did work out that whole Iceman thing, though.
Yeah,
man, I never heard so much about damn George Gervin in my life over the course of the last couple of months. I'm just saying.
Vontae, what up,
Seven footers in San Antonio is like a thing. I don't know who their GM is in San Antonio, but he just finds 7-foot monsters.
Hey, Booker, man,
all over the planet Earth.
Hey, Unc be at the grill making that barbecue up, got the hot links busting on that thing, and you ain't gonna pull that thing off, put it on a bun, and eat it. You tripping because somebody on social media
got your head tilt already and shit like
you tripping. But yeah, man, that's a conversation for some extra sauce. Really, it is. We ought to bring that up again, talking about social media norms and how people are easily persuaded by them. I don't know, but we'll talk about that a little bit more. I think it's totally ridiculous, and any grown-ass man ain't adhering to none of that shit. They're going to enjoy their food, no matter where they are. I go right in Sam's Club, right in Costco, get that long-ass hot dog, and eat it right there in front of you.
And you lick that ice cream cone. You enjoy every one of those licks.
You want to make a meme here, I'm going to give you one for free. But shut the fuck up, and I'm going to eat my shit.
Did he get the Madam cover, or is that still in speculation? I thought it was still in speculation.
I don't know, Michael White. I thought it was. I've been seeing that for 48 hours, man.
Me too.
Is there a certain date that is announced, or
it should be real soon because the game usually comes out. It usually comes out in the next couple of weeks before the season. Right, so I don't know. It should be real soon, man.
Hey, I gotta
So he got the deluxe edition cover. That's what King is saying.
I like how you put up the scrolls and pulled it down real quick.
Great. I'll tell you what.
Oh, that's funny. That's
too big funny. Glizzy about to go finish this great weekend I'm having with my girlfriend. We're having a great weekend. We just finished up. Well, we ain't finished, but we doing the BMF documentary. The BMF show, I forget what is it. Is it the BMF story? I don't know what it is, but it's on Stars. We've been all over that, so it's like second or third season. But the documentary came out, and 50 does a great job of bringing street life in that particular time period to life. And the documentary is better than the show because you're getting all the people that were involved in that whole BMF movement. We just unalived the whole first season in a binge yesterday, and now we're on season 2, man. And it's really, really good, man. So you want to talk about a phenomenon, a street phenomenon? That BMF movement here in the United States, kids, was crazy. I got to see the back end of it in Atlanta when I moved down there, so I know exactly what it looked like. So we're gonna get into some more of that, man, and enjoy her weekend off, man. This is her last night, and so we're gonna have a good time. So if you guys have any final thoughts before we get ready to get out of here, now's the time, folks.
Like I say, nothing major, man. I'm glad we were able to sort of take a peek at some of the folks who may, some of the heads that may roll next over the course of the next 48 hours or so. We'll see what really happens. We'll get a better understanding as to what that looks like again as the week progresses, and we will report on what we find out come Wednesday night with some extra sauce. We got about 45 minutes to really get an understanding as to whether something happens with this stadium situation or not. I'm like, if you're really waiting for the midnight hour, you know what I mean? Like, 11th hour for real. I don't know if anything's gonna go down, y'all. So that leaves for many questions as far as where this team will eventually wind up playing, and your guess is as good as mine. It's funny that Indiana's just made everything absolutely carte blanche and open-ended. Come on down, and we'll cover everything for you. You know what I mean? Like they
got you.
Can I give you an extra sauce nugget real quick, kids? While you're talking about across Wednesday because it's going to definitely be plenty of Bears conversation. But I'm gonna give you guys a little homework to do. There's been some explosions off the east coast of the United States, anywhere between, I want to say, Vermont, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and South Carolina. Those three areas in particular, off the east coast of the United States. And one of them they're trying to, label as a meteor that's just traveling at 75,000 miles per hour, but nobody knew it was coming. But I think there's something else going on. I know some of you people probably know exactly what I'm talking about, but monitor closely some of these explosions that are happening around the United States, particularly on the eastern seaboard out there, man. It's starting to get really, really curious. I'm not sure if something's going on that we ain't being told about. So that's happening all over the eastern seaboard right now. So pay attention to that. Kez, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I just had to give an extra sauce nugget.
Well, thank you for that. I have no clue what's going on with respect to that, but I guess I'll keep my ear to the ground and see if I can find anything out. Paul Rodriguez is saying false alarm, Nomad. Just the sound of the Detroit Lions.
That is a big ass thug. That's a big ass thug. Great shot, Paul.
Boom! Love that one, Paul. Well spun. But yeah, man, we'll see how things shake out and what it really looks like with all of these little nuggets that we kind of have been floating around. I'll be on special location on Wednesday, so we'll see how that all shakes out. But lo and behold, I will likely be in full effect on Wednesday. So,
my boy,
yeah, there's that.
Cool. All right, so just make sure that you are subscribed. You got those noties on, even though that you already know Sunday night, Wednesday night, how it goes down. But Nomad Network, Keds a Canuck, and Sports Chicago style, the whole little subscribe and thumbs up, all that good shit. Much appreciated. Much appreciated for the super chats. And as we not only a new week, but a new month. Let's keep it rolling. Do what you got to do. Make sure that rent's paid. And get out there and get that rent money for next month. Let's go.
Snap. Thanks for reminding me. Gotta pay the piper.
And also, please get out there and get you some of that vitamin D. That means the SUN, the sun. Perfect time to be doing it. It's been some really nice looking full moons out there, man. And Earth is reacting to it. Humans are reacting to it, animals are reacting to it. But it's really, really nice out there, and the weather's really nice, man. I just say get out there and get you some sun, get you some fresh vegetables that are growing up everywhere, fresh fruit, man. This is the time to go get it, get your body right. This is a good time to get out there and get fresh things instead of processed food and all that kind of stuff that we love. But right now is fresh. Give your body a good break from all that stuff.
And who is that? Ron saying, what's rent? Well, you might call it mortgage, you might call it taxes, but you're paying somebody to habitate in your dwelling. Whether you rent it, whether you think you own it, whatever the case may be, you got to pay, because that's what we worker bees have to do.
It is unfortunate, but it is true. That being said,
I wish everybody was the same status, but we ain't.
Mm-hmm.
It's Ron homeless. Ron is a home owner. There we go. There's the other side.
I am too, but the struggle still remains.
Yeah, you call it a mortgage, but it's you just paying rent to your bank, your finance company, to the government.
Well, that's a whole conversation to have, man, later on. But even if you are a homeowner, man, you ain't. Let's just say this.
Okay, so I gotta ask a question before we get out of here.
What?
And it's this one. If this shit doesn't get solved in the next 40 minutes, what is the potential for another team to come to Chicago?
You mean
Kids,
like
why are you putting us in a conundrum, man? I'm trying to get out of
I
here.
didn't do this. I would like to blame
That's
the
fair.
legislation in Chicago, in Illinois,
Well, you got to have
as
another
well as the
team.
McCaskey family. There's Kevin Moore.
Well, but the situation still remains. Where are they going to play in the city proper? That was part of the issue, is the acreage and the ability to have a whole football themed area beyond the field, and that just does not exist in the city right now. Arlington Heights,
They could go play at Soldier. It would suck. It might be.
Well, the NFL is not going to allow that anymore.
Why?
Because it devalues their product. If they can have 32 teams with a little city NFL proper around all of them, now their overall value is going up versus having one team in the city of Chicago, that seats 60,000 people and they don't know nothing else around it. That brings down the value overall of other franchises.
Interesting.
All right. I'll tell you what, since we didn't get enough, I just knew that conversation was going to take an hour to talk about, but y'all wasn't as talkative as I thought you would be at the early part of the show when we brought it up. But we got to go tonight, man. We'll bring it up some more because there's sure to be more revelations in between now and the time we get together on some extra sauce, man, because that's just the way it's going to be. It's going to be more news to come out on it. I'm just not going to worry about it right now at all because I don't care. I got other things to worry about, man. You're talking about taxes and all kinds of stuff. It's just getting tighter and tighter for people out here, man. So I'm thinking about all of that and trying to keep my SHIT together with what we have going on. And I hope everybody is managing and functioning the best way they can in their homes and making sure you're checking boxes, you know what I mean? And making sure you're getting things together because it's just getting a little bit sketchy out here. So I just want to leave you guys with some love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.